So let's go to the next calculation, and it's called a z-score. And to me, it's the ratio of all ratios. And so if you would, read the first two paragraphs to yourself first, and then I will explain to you how we go about calculating the z-score. So the z-score was created by Professor Altman back in the 1960s. He was trying to figure out a way to determine if a company was in danger of bankruptcy. So he studied hundreds, thousands of companies that had declared bankruptcy, studied their financials, and found that there were four ratios that were most indicative of financial failure. He also found that each of those four ratios had more or less of an impact than the others. So he assigned a weight to each of the four ratios, and then found that he could add the four ratios together to come up with one number that he then called the z-score. And as you see on the bottom of this sheet, if the z-score is between 0 and 1.09, your company is bankruptcy imminent. If you're between 1.1 and 2.6, you're very questionable. And if your z-score is higher than 2.6, you're okay. Higher the number, the better. So I want to give you an opportunity to calculate a company z-score. And the way that we're going to do this is, first, you're going to use the numbers that we used previously to calculate the ratios on the page that says My Company, and you have a balance sheet and an income statement. You're going to use those numbers to calculate the z-score for this company. So you have all the information you need to calculate their z-score. You have operating profit, you have total current assets, total current liabilities, total assets, total equity, and retained earnings. So using that information, you're going to calculate the four ratios that you see on this page: ratio A, ratio B, ratio C, and ratio D. You're going to calculate each of those ratios, multiply each ratio times the weight that is assigned to each of these ratios: 6.56, 3.26, 6.72, and 1.05, and then add the four ratios together to get your z-score. So Natalie, are you still there? Natalie?
Yes, I am.
So we're going to put them into breakout rooms. Let's put them into, how many do we have here? We've got 24. So let's put them into 5 different groups, 5 different breakout rooms. And as a team, you're going to calculate the z-score for this company. So you're going to get some help here from your team. So Natalie, let's put them into 5 different rooms, and let's give them 8 minutes to calculate the z-score. And
let me assign those really quick.
And once you've calculated the z-score, with the time that you have, I want you to discuss with your team what this number means and how you could improve your z-score. If this were your company, how could you improve the z-score? And I'll give you a clue. It's a positive number, and it's less than 5. So just in case you get some crazy number, you'll know it. Positive number, less than 5. All right, so if you would, in the chat box, put whatever you came up with. What was your z-score? If you put that in the chat box, please. See what you got. All right, Christine, 1.6. All right, who else? Eleanor, 1.6. Rick, 1.6, 1.6, 1.6. Looks like the correct answer is 1.6. Nicely done. Nicely done. You should have gotten somewhere between 1.5 and 1.6, depending on where you rounded off. Somewhere between 1.5 and 1.6. So what does that tell us? Well, at least based on the scale on the bottom of the page, it tells us that we are very questionable.
Tim, I have a question.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't get past 1. Can you explain A?
Sure. A is current assets, which were total assets. What were total assets? 410 minus current liabilities. Total liabilities were 290. And then we divided that. No, current assets.
Current.
I'm sorry, current
Current
assets.
assets, not total.
150 minus current liabilities, 150. So 150 minus 150 equals 0 divided by total assets. So you should have gotten 0 for A. And then around 0.5 or 0.55 for B, about 0.5 for C, and 0.4 for D. So we got 1.6 were very questionable, but so that's could be good or bad news depending on how we're trending, right? If a year ago we were at 1, well, we're doing a little bit better. If a year ago we were at 5, we've gone down quite a bit. So we'd want to know how we're trending on the Z-score, but by itself, not a very good number.